According to classical economists, all sciences should be aimed at providing humanity with a better quality of life. The well-known economist Adam Smith, who was also a classical economist, went a step further by stating that no society can be flourishing and happy when the far greater part of that society is living in a poor and miserable state. Economic growth, which is defined as the real increase in real GDP, carries along an ever-growing social problem such as income inequality. Thus, we are defending the statement that economic growth generates a gap between the rich and the poor.
One thing is sure. In this world where technology is constantly growing, the economic growth leads directly to an investment in technology, which allows a country to increase consequently its productivity. Technological investment leads to technological improvement. And guess what? This technological improvement leads to the devaluation and/or suppression of less skilled required jobs. Therefore, low-skilled workers lose their jobs or see their salaries decline, whereas the high-skilled workers see their responsibilities increase. This creates a huge gap and a huge inequality, which is, at the beginning, generated by economic growth.
In the 1970s, Arthur Kuhn introduced a theory that stated that there's a trade-off between equity and income distribution and efficiency. As we all know, efficiency leads to economic growth. Thus, this theory basically explains the trade-off between equity and economic growth. So what Arthur stated is that if there's government intervention to achieve equity, that would lead to changes in allocation of resources that will have a bad impact on them and a bad impact on productivity. So why is that? For example, if equity of distribution of income would mean that everybody gets the same pay no matter how skilled they are. So the people that are higher skilled will not be motivated to actually put effort in their jobs and to be incentivized to do a better job. Therefore, these changes in attitudes will lead to low productivity and thus eventually will lead to lower economic growth. So now you may be thinking, but isn't your argument about how economic growth generates inequality and not how equality burdens economic growth? Well, this actually works both ways because it's a trade-off between them both. Now, if economic growth is a priority of the country, well, the problem will be solved about there will be work efficiency, there will be incentives for people to be productive, and there will be a good allocation of resources. However, there will be no equality of the distribution of income.
Between 1946 and 1933, productivity in America grew by 104%. Here are some amazing facts to support the idea that economic growth generates more inequality between the rich and the poor. In 81% of American counties, the median income, about $52,000, is less than it was 15 years ago. This is despite the fact that the economy has grown 83% in the past quarter century and corporate profits have doubled. American workers produce twice the amount of goods and services as 25 years ago, but get less of the pie.